Hey, everybody. Welcome to this month's town hall. I know we just had the previous months a couple weeks ago with the July 4th vacation, but there's a couple new things that we get to talk about just a couple weeks after, and I'm going to review that with you today. As always, if anyone has any questions, please just drop them in the chat on the right, or you can also use the questions section as well. So, what we're going to be reviewing today is NeQter Update 226. I know what you're thinking. You're saying, I thought there wasn't any more version 2 updates. So, we'll cover that. We also have some new social platforms that I wanted to talk about. They're very new, they're very fresh. So, don't have too much to talk about them, but really, this is an announcement, a launch. And just for anyone who might have missed it or anyone who wanted to discuss anything, I do have some of the slides from the previous presentation talking about the phase two pause or the suspension for CMMC from DoD. And then there's just a couple upcoming events that we have for the company. So, NeQter Update 226. So, it's the last one, we promise. Last version 2 update. What really spurred this was version 3 is a massive update. So we wanted to chop it up a little bit by first covering an update to the vulnerability scanner, specifically the one that we leverage is Greenbone's OpenVAS. So there were a couple things that are going to be in this update 226. There's a bit of a user interface refresh on the OpenVAS front. As I mentioned or teased about previously with version 3, we actually completely reworked the vulnerability scanner and its functionality and its reports and its results into the NeQter UI. But we're still going to have the legacy interface for those of you that still want to just use the regular OpenVAS one. So that UI got a facelift, so to speak, and the feeds are the same and they're still being updated. They're just a little repackaged differently. They update a bit differently, but that's just really semantics. That's just backend stuff. It's not going to be noticeable to the end user. So for version 226, it's going to be coming out next week. It was a short runway, a small update, but again, just really chopping up what's going to be a big update in version 3. A lot of the stuff within the version 3, the heft of it, some of it was due to the transitioning over to the newer version of the Vuln scanner. So this 226 is going to in itself be a bit of a bulky update. We're still rehashing or testing through how long does it take. The longest that we've had it take so far is 30 minutes. We're going to look to reduce that for launch. So I remember years gone by, we had updates that would take hours. So when our head dev Sean, he told me, it's going to be a bit long. It's going to be 30 minutes. I was like, that's historically that's not that bad, but we're going to try to punch that down a bit. And it's really laying the foundation, laying the groundwork for version 3. And there was a bit of a jumping back and forth because we're in testing for version 3 right now. We're in testing, we're in cleanup. So rather than having duplicative testing with, okay, is the Vuln scan working and all that there, because it is a bit of we wrap it up under NeQter, it is supported under NeQter, but it is in itself separate software that we're supporting. So there was just a lot of testing with it. So we're like, all right, let's update, get the foundation, get that testing out of the way to set the scene for version 3. So it's just helping us on our side, but then also helping you on your side. So reducing bugs, or we don't want any issues with the version 3 launch. So that is 226, last version 2 update, I promise. And so that's what we're handling with that. So it will be out sometime next week. We're just wrapping that up now. Outside of that, so that's really it for kind of specific NeQter software discussion today. Of course, if anyone has any questions, I can go over anything that anyone asks or might ask. But next big thing that we have, and we're early stages with it. We need to see what it is or what it becomes, but we have introduced a couple new avenues of discussion surrounding NeQter. Number one, first thing is going to be a dedicated subreddit for NeQter. So fortunately, a lot of people have discussed NeQter throughout the years on Reddit, either in the CMMC channel, the SIEM sim channel, different areas and subreddits on Reddit. But we wanted to launch our own. So this is going to be a public; everyone can access it. We're taking it slow because, of course, moderating it and managing it is more bandwidth on our side. But with our with Corey and with Levi and with me and some others, we're going to look to moderate this, and it's going to be another avenue of um posting just stuff that we post on LinkedIn or send out through emails, such as our blogs or changelog or updates, or even posting the links to this the YouTube channel and what have you. But hopefully we want it to become a forum of people talking about the tool, use cases, questions, and because our team, we use NeQter all the time. We use it in different applications, but there's always something that somebody does differently or even better, or something that we haven't thought about. And there's a wealth of knowledge in the community with the hundreds of users that use NeQter. So we wanted to launch this. Again, we don't know what it's going to look like yet. We're trying to take it slow. So we anticipate existing NeQter users, future NeQter users, consultants, other trusted industry professionals talking about CMMC, but more importantly, NeQter Sim, inventory, vuln scanning, and GRC. There's also an element of we will monitor it with our team. We don't want it to be an avenue of posting anything personal or private, or support related. We still want the proper channels for support to be leveraged. But if there's a discussion of, hey, it would be cool if we saw this, or either feature requests or different things, that's fine. That's fair game. Anything's fair game when it comes to this. So I just wanted to put that on the radar for everyone that has been launched. Just noticed a quick question from Pat Osborne, going back to my previous discussion of 226. There is not a client agent update. It's just the appliance. So something to highlight for any agent updates. We are keeping any changes to the agents until post V3. So we're going to be coming out with version 3. And then the next iterative update, we're going to have an agent update. We don't want to do it both at the same time to reduce any troubleshooting issues or mismatches. We don't want too many moving pieces at once, which again is one of the reasons why we had this intermediate, yet again, another intermediate update, so that we don't have too many moving pieces causing issues, and then having to do a hot fix and then a small update later. We want to get it right the first time. So there will be no agent updates until there's a number next to 3.1 or what have you. So any and any agent updates. So if there's a new support that we need for Mac, or you're mentioning a question. So agent support for Mac OS Tahoe won't be until version 3. That is correct. To the best of my knowledge, I don't think that we're gonna have any. I guess I can ask on that. I just know that like there's not going to be any expansion of functionality or feature updates to the agent. If there's a compatibility update, um, unsure. I can ask specifically on that. I don't believe so, but I could be wrong if there's a compatibility issue with the version of an OS. So yeah, so let me go and actually grab this link. So I'm going to drop this in the chat for everyone, and I'll try to add a link later as well. So that's the direct link to the Reddit. A little bit of a tumbleweed right there right now. We just have the kind of that first post. Hey, this exists. And again, basically anything else that we find to be important or official correspondence, we will also have that as an additional a channel for people to access. Let me see if I can just quickly add a link. No, there's too many clicks. So I dropped it in the chat for anyone who wants to access that. So this one's public. The next one I'm going to mention is a little bit more private. Is going to be NeQter Labs Discord. So not everyone's on Discord. We know that. So we're not looking to have it be a cloaked secret society, a type affair here. Secret menu items that are only for the people who use Discord. No, we just want this to be another avenue for discussion. And as a lot of people know, or a lot of people are on the CMMC Center of Excellence, or the CUI Discord, which started with 30 people back in 2018, and now is I think of as eclipsed like 5,000 users, and people talking about CMMC and cyber and the DIB and et cetera, et cetera. So there's a lot of cyber professionals, but then also consultants and compliance and CMMC and DIB, and a lot of people who use Discord. So we wanted to also add a NeQter Discord for the people who, for whatever reason, want to talk about NeQter even more, or trade best practices or search parameters or certain things that they might be using for NeQter for differently. So again, this is going to be a duplicative effort of any press releases or blogs or videos or publicly available information, change log, update information, etc., is going to be posted on here. But we're hoping that there's a bit more discourse back and forth between NeQter users. And again, don't want to paint ourselves into a corner with this. We don't know what it's going to, the best use case. It might turn into something completely different. But basically, right now we're just throwing a couple things at the wall, see what sticks. So we will be monitoring this. Myself, Levi from our team, he's a moderator on the CUI Discord, and want to thank him for building it out One of my biggest worries is, of course, from a security standpoint, anti-spam, anti-phishing, having the proper moderation in place, having, bots that help you moderate and manage. So he has all that experience. So right now, this specifically is going to be invite only, until we make sure that things are dialed appropriately. We have the different roles and permissions and what have you set up. And then later we'll probably look to open it up. But right now I'm inviting people that I know are more power users, or of the NeQter product, or have certain feedback, or dialogue that we usually share via other means, but we'll look to kind of um, coordinate it and push it into here a bit more. Or sometimes I DM, I directly message certain people with the same idea, and it could just be like, you know what, let's just talk about it as a group, type of thing. So again, we're not looking at this to be a means of um, official correspondence related to like support type stuff or tickets. Still want all those types of tickets to be pushed through the proper channels. But one of the areas that we have is a feature request forum. So if somebody says, "Hey, um, I really hate the fact that we don't have a dark mode for NeQter. Why is that?" Well, all of you can pile on, and then I can bully development to see why we don't have that. So that's one of the things we're hoping for with this. There's not a lot of people on it right now. I'm inviting people, and but if you would like to be invited and basically part of this experiment, either drop in the chat here, and raise your hand and say, "Hey, I'd love to be a part of this," and I will send you an invite, and we can kind of get started, see what this is going to shape up into. Um, so that is the NeQter Discord. Again, I need to send you an invite link if you would like to be part of this. So that's everything from, we talked about 226. We talked about the NeQter Discord. I have some repetitive slides from the last town hall about the phase 2 suspension. I imagine everyone is caught up to speed on this. I just will quickly rehash in case anyone missed anything. I know there's been a lot of press releases, but there's been a lot of news. There's been a lot of discussion, dialogue about this. The only thing that I didn't talk about in here, which I'll talk about briefly, let me just put a pin in that. I'll talk about it on that slide. So just to rehash, phase 1 has basically been extended indefinitely for self-certification of CMMC. So no L2 C3PAO is being required or going to be required by the DoD officially on that original November 10th deadline. They've pushed that off. They've quote unquote suspended it. So, and then any contracts that had that language, level 2 C3PO or level 3 DIPCAC, is going to be stripped. That was officially last time I was kind of fumbling around because I thought it was in the release, but it was actually in a memo that was released on the same day that had that language. In, in the meantime, I've heard hubbub or seen some things where people were like, "Well, we still have L2 required by us, even though that the department said, no one can insert that into contracts." So interesting. So phase 2 on pause, phase 1 still in effect, self-certification, and SPRS scores and all that stuff still reigns true. One of the things that they talked about in the phase 2 suspension was having a 60-day review process. for the CMMC program, where the Department of War is going to be standing up a reform task force, and is to align with Secretary Hegseth's certain directives that he has, and one of the and that as far as I know, that task force has started to meet. It's real, it's genuine, it's not just a you know window dressing. It seems like there are a couple things that they're concerned with, that they want to hash out, they want to discuss. So a part of that discussion is they have an RFI on sim.gov asking for your feedback. Unfortunately, this isn't like the previous rules where the Federal Register and everything was publicly accessible and etc. This seems to be a closed loop, unfortunately. So you can't see what people are submitting and what have you. But this is the official means to either champion or disparage or add any feedback that you have about the process in the past, in the present, or the future. But the response date's coming to a close. So it was launched on July 13th. We're but a week away from the response date closing. So it's a 60-day review, but they only have 30 days worth of getting feedback from everybody. So I will drop this link in the chat as well, just in case anyone hasn't been able to submit their comments on this. One thing I wanted to mention, I see quickly now. Jim, when will 226 be released? It will, yeah. Thank you, Josh. It is next week that's going to come out. So one of the things I wanted to mention that they had talked about is they were going to have a listening tour where they were going to go around and listen, I guess, having sessions with industry. I haven't. I looked a little bit. I know some people have posted some things for different member organizations like DibCS or other means, but in terms of the public listening tour, I guess, so to speak, I haven't seen anything officially announced of where or when. So if anyone has any knowledge of that, please post that in the chat, unless I'm wrong or am right, and they haven't announced anything formally. Again, they said they were going to have a listening tour. Haven't seen any. Wonder if they'll have maybe a concert tour, like a tour dates T-shirt. That would be cool. If they had that at the events, but no, I have not seen any official correspondence on that. So I just wanted to mention that. I didn't have a formal slide because I don't have anything formal or proper to maybe next month. Maybe next month I'll have something, or if we see anything about that, we'll release a post or an email saying, hey, listening to our event near you, come check it out. I've seen again mentions of it, like, oh, they're going to have one in Cali, they're going to have one in DC, blah blah blah. But I was looking a bit, didn't see anything formal. So let me know if you have any questions on. I think everyone is heard it to death, the suspension the past month and what have you for phase 2. But any questions, let me know. And from where you can see us, where you can see NeQter, we're going to keep it close to home. We're going to be in Newport, Rhode Island at the Synidia Defense Innovation Days. We're going to be actually co-sponsoring a booth with one of our local partners on that. And that's going to be August 31st to September 2nd. So Eddie's asking, will NeQter be at CS5 East? I believe so. I will be fully transparent, we prior to um, suspension, we were going to look to sponsor it. But as anyone who's sponsored or attended that event knows, uh, it ain't cheap. It's pretty expensive show. So with the news, I don't think we're going to jump for sponsorship, but I do think that we will attend because fortunately for us, I can hop on a flight, get down there in an hour. You know, it's very close to us, so I think we will be there in attendance. Um, it's the event itself is going to be post 60-day review, so maybe we'll have some knowledge of what's transpiring with cyber EB, with CMMC, with C3PAO assessments, et cetera, et cetera. So I think we will be there or have a presence. I don't know if we will be sponsoring like we were potentially planning on. That's tough. I like to go to those shows to um see how industry is doing and what have you, but unfortunately there's not a lot of industry there. There's a lot of service providers and consultants and people that I see regularly. So we always like to have a presence, but I guess it needs to be seen of how um you know how much it makes sense to go down there and sponsor. Um, so hopefully I answered that, and I will just I don't have a slide for it, but I will just acknowledge. Let me just talk about this real quick. Testimonials. We have fortunately seen in the news um, a lot of NeQter existing clients say, "Hey, I got L2 started. We're good to go. We did it," which is fantastic. So we've reached out to them. We always like to hear how does NeQter perform in an assessment. What did we help? What did we hinder? What can we do better? We always want to make the product better. Fortunately, we've heard that hasn't been any snags with NeQter, that even the system security plan output from the NeQter comply has been used as the SSP for delivery to C3PAOs, and I've reviewed it and passed the SSP, but then also NeQter being leveraged to help meet auditing accountability and configuration management and risk assessment with the SIM and the inventory and the vuln scanner. So always want feedback, good or bad. And also if anyone wants to be highlighted in a NeQter story, that is where Corey comes into play, and we'll reach out and coordinate that. Now, I don't want to, I should have an elephant in the room slide of version 3 has increasingly been hard to wrangle. A lot of stuff has come out in testing, um, where obviously there's always going to be the oh, this button doesn't work, or this path needs to be updated and stuff like that. But increasingly, because of the update, we you develop certain things, and then you put it into practice as you imagined it, and then there's certain tweaks from a workflow, or there's a lot of different and new things in version 3, and we don't want to lose people that have been using. It's not fair for someone that's been using NeQter for 6 years to get a new platform entirely and not have it be familiar or recognizable from what they were doing before. There's going to be expanded functionality, so there's going to be new things for everybody, of course, but there are existing methods of doing things or ways that people are familiar with, and we want to carry that forward. So with version 3, we talked about July came and went. Fortunately, we're in August, we're still in testing, so I'm crossing my fingers for a September launch for that. The vuln scan update was a big piece of that. That's coming out next week, and then we can finalize the remainder of the tool and all of the testing and all of the tweaks that we need to make. So I provide information as it comes available to me. I try. I hate stepping on my words and inserting foot in mouth, and people asking and then asking, "Hey, you said this." Well, unfortunately, things change, and I want it out more than anybody. So I just wanted to mention that. Not trying to ignore it or sweep it under the rug, but fortunately, I don't have, um, a concrete this date. It's going to be in your hands, etc. It's getting closer. We're dialing in on it. So I'm hoping that come September town hall, I say, hey, either it's out or here's the date. Um, so just wanted to mention that because I know Eddie, I wasn't ignoring you. I got an email. I just wanted to address it here, but I will also respond on email. I got a question from Ritesh. Thoughts on 800-171 Rev 2 versus Rev 3. In regards to the um, the 60-day pause, and you thinking that it's that's being considered, or are more from a standpoint of asking, hey, should we just dial in on Rev 3 and ignore Rev 2, throw it away, just trying to round out your question. Just want to make sure I answer it correctly. And of course, just I should hold up a little sign and say Patrick's opinion. This is not a reflection of NeQter's policy and opinion, but just want to see what your question is, or it could be related to the FAR rule. Rev 3 being pegged in the being tallied in the FAR rule. So just want to see. Updates to the SSP. So yeah. So with that, that's not going to be parceled into a version 3. That hasn't been touched for version 3. I know that I want to be ahead of that prior to it's not official. It's a feature request. It's on the drawing board. It hasn't been singled out for which update it's going to make its way into. So I imagine that version 3 is going to come out. I imagine that version 3.1 with the agent update to coincide with new version 3 features is going to come out. And then it could make an appearance there or probably later. So I'm going to say probably target end of year for that. I don't want to be obviously if it comes in there's a earth-shattering announcement and the FAR COI rule has become dislodged and is actually coming out, or we've got feedback from CMMC and oops, all Rev 3. If there's a major industry turning point, we'll have we'll rearrange the deck and push it forward. But I don't see it leapfrogging any known updates right now until we get those out of the way, because it's going to be a major functionality boon for all the users. Don't have a definitive update on that. It's on our mind. We have it slated, but we don't have a particular update that's going to go into as of yet. Again, unless FAR COI rule comes out or is announced, or CMMC is realigned and what have you. So, yeah, but that's been on my mind for sure. And one of the things a lot of people talking about, where it's like, is the government playing 4D chess and they pause CMMC because they're actually going to realign to Rev 3 to coincide with the FAR COI rules so that the entirety of the government and all agencies are on the same page? I don't think that's what's happening. There's again, going into a personal opinion, there's always that swinging sword of the government is all knowing, and then at the same side there's incompetence at different stages of different levels of the government, and people try to juggle both of those sides. I don't think that they're pausing CMMC because there's a grand scheme to align with Rev 3. However, that's of course going to be to the consternation of duty contractors that also are working with other agencies and having to potentially juggle Rev 2 or Rev 3 simultaneously, that's not going to be good for anyone. So I'm hoping that there's going to be a um, effort to pick one or the other, or just elevate things to Rev 3 so that there's uniformity of rollout. However, be careful what you wish for, because there's a lot of people that say that, but then there's others that have actually read through Rev 3 and know all the expansion of the assessment objectives and the ODPs that have been mandated or acknowledged to be required or recommended by the federal government. So it's that's Rev 3 is going to be nasty. It's going to be tough for a lot of people. But sure, no one on the call. I'm sure everyone already knows that's on the call. Everyone's generally in the know here. So yeah, so not looking to ramble. Wanted to just talk about 226 out next week. Refreshing and realigning the vulnerability scanner as a preparation move, as a foundation laying move for version 3, which is now going to be more towards shifting to end of this month, early next month is the hope. Again, we keep uncovering things through testing, and again, want to launch it right instead of just rushing it out and then having to fix things. That's never what you want. So version 226, the public Reddit for NeQter, and then the invite only currently Discord. Let us know if you want to be on there. Send me an email, a drop in the chat here, and then of course we will be at Sanidia. Anyone in Rhode Island or in Mass who wants to go there to Newport, always a good time. We will be there for that. And then we are looking to be at the CS5 East. I don't know if the NeQter logo will be in the sponsorship column, but I think we will be there in person. Yeah, I think that is everything. Any feedback, any questions, always feel free to reach out. Also, as of note, you are entitled to have quarterly check-ins from support that we can schedule and get you on the calendar for. So if you're like, what is that? I'm not scheduled. Reach out to myself or Jose from our team to coordinate that. Or of course, if you want to wave that way, say, you know what? I hear from you guys enough. I don't want that. Just that's also a good answer, but I just want to highlight that is available to you. So any last questions or comments before I look to wrap up today? As always, appreciate everyone showing up. So yeah, I think that is it. Everyone have a great summer. I don't want to talk about it. Summer's already over. Everyone have a great rest of your summer. We'll talk in September. And any questions, feel free to reach out. But appreciate everyone's time today, and look forward to seeing you next month. Thank you, everybody.